In my 20 years of real estate, I flipped over 100 homes, closed 1,000 transactions, and represented banks and asset management companies. I've seen just about everything you can possibly imagine in residential real estate. While this market's crazy, I've thrived in crazy markets like this twice before. It was just like this in the early 2000s, and again after the recession was over in 2012. Today, I'm going to lead you to water and provide you with some expert tips that will certainly improve your ability to get offers accepted and ultimately help you make an educated decision for you and your family. But just like a good chef, I'm not necessarily going to give you the full recipe. Only my clients receive the 400 level class on negotiating and insight. Now, the first one might seem a little obvious, but stay with me. Get a good local lender and get pre-qualified way before you're ready to be serious. The reason for doing this early is because you never know what may come up during the pre-approval process. Now, if you discover anything derogatory or blocking your ability to get approved for what you want or need, now you have time to address these issues. Another reason to use a local lender is this. As a listing agent, the lender's job is to essentially misrepresent their buyer to me. I've never heard of a lender admitting that they haven't seen a tax return. I've never had a lender tell me that their buyer isn't qualified yet, but they hope to have them qualified in time of closing. But this happens all the time. I know the lender is likely exaggerating when I speak to them. I'm simply trying to ascertain if this lender does any amount of business or not. Now, is this lender competent? And would they waste their time on an unqualified buyer? Good lenders wouldn't waste their time. Additionally, if you're a successful local lender, you're protective of your reputation. You're not likely to risk it on one little deal. When you're dealing with a big bank or credit union, in most cases, I can't even get to speak to anyone, or they're not willing to answer the phone on the weekend or after business hours. If Bank of America blows a deal, they could care less. Your local guy, however, does. The next issue with lending is that most of these deals don't tend to close on time. Now, in a normal market, it's not a huge deal. You simply get an extension and you're good to go. Well, in a hyper-appreciating market, if you don't close on time, the seller can keep your earnest money and sell the home to someone else for a higher price. So if your lender screws up, it could cost you your earnest money. It could cost you a daily penalty of, say, $100. Or worst case scenario, it could cost you the entire deal and your earnest money. Now, next is incredibly important. Be aggressive. Now's not the time to be weak or lazy. You'll waste your time and wind up costing yourself more money. Instead of focusing only on homes in the market, have your agent send you pre-listings or coming soon listings. An hour before I shot this video, I literally put a deal together for a home that's not hitting the market for another 2 weeks. Now, I had my client put together a really strong offer, which afforded the seller the ability to not have to even deal with showing the home to strangers. A lot of times, agents pre-list homes simply to get their own buyer so they can make twice the money. But if you write an offer, that agent is legally compelled to present your offer to their seller. So it's a great way to backdoor yourself into a transaction. Be aggressive by offering immediately and strong. Look, you get what you put into life. So plan on checking your alerts daily and start looking at homes on your lunch break or right after work. I've managed to steal homes by writing offers within like 2 hours of them being listed. Every once in a while, you can manage to just slam one home before the crowd even shows up. But most realtors are just lazy. I hate to say it. A good amount of realtors just don't even want to deal with 10 offers. Sometimes one solid offer can just get the deal closed real quick. So be aggressive by finding out the seller's motivation. What most sellers care most about sometimes isn't just price. Sometimes comfort is equally important. Offer them, say, a free month lease back. In most cases, your first payment isn't even going to be due for a month anyhow. So give them that free month and tell them to, hey, take your time, don't bother packing until the check's even cashed. I can't tell you how often I receive offers on my listings when I haven't even spoken to the realtor. How do you even know what my client's looking for if you don't bother to even talk to me? So be aggressive by, say, waiving the appraisal. If your agent's savvy, they'll have a loophole in your contract to protect you from, let's just say, worst case scenarios. Better to have your foot in the door versus standing outside in line. Which leads me to the singular most important one of them all. Pick an experienced realtor. Now, as a realtor myself, I know that you're thinking, yeah, of course this guy just said that. Look, I'll be honest, you don't need a realtor to buy a home, just like you don't need an attorney to represent you in court. But like they say, a man who represents himself has a fool for a client. In most cases, it's free to use a realtor when you purchase. But here's the ugly truth. Most realtors just aren't very good. You wouldn't use a part-time attorney or a part-time doctor, right? Well, stop using your friend's wife who just does this on the side. Any idiot can drive people around. It's what you don't see or know as a consumer that's so important. Spend time interviewing agents. Ask them questions like, what's the going rate for interior paint per square foot? How much is flooring demolition running? Do you have contractors for paint, cabinetry, and flooring? Now, if that agent can't answer these simple questions right there on the spot and immediately text you contractors, they don't have a clue, man. They don't even know. They're simply going to be a glorified chauffeur for you. If your agent ever says, let me ask my broker, they don't have much experience. What buyers don't understand is that listing agents like to work with agents that do business. See, weak agents lose deals. If they don't know or have confidence, then their clients lose confidence in the deal as well. So minor issues can literally kill a deal. Experienced listing agents know this. Experienced agents hate dealing with incompetent agents and will relay this information right back to their seller. So in markets like this where every property has 10 offers, usually the differences between them are pretty small. Every time the agent's going to encourage their client to take an offer from an agent that they know or knows that they have a good reputation for doing business. It's like hiring a great defense attorney who knows the DA and the judges by first name. More times than not, that attorney is going to call in a favor and get you a deal that the public defender didn't even know was going to be possible. It's really no different in high stakes real estate. Number 4, consider the value. Now this is tricky. Again, this is where a savvy and honest realtor comes into play. In these types of markets, home prices appreciate rapidly. Seldom are these increases linear. One nice home can easily sell for $100,000 more than the rest. But after that sale, everyone else in the neighborhood expects a similar price, even though their homes aren't in the same condition. And people will pay when they don't have options. In most cases, the home value is dependent on the immediate neighborhood or subdivision. Well, sometimes neighborhoods get a little bit ahead of themselves. Other times, you have little sleepy neighborhoods that have very few transactions. Sometimes these little sleepy neighborhoods fall well behind the overall market. Now, a top agent who knows the market is going to know that inherent value. They know when a neighborhood is undervalued. Typically, that undervalued discount doesn't last very long. Now, nobody wants to overpay. Eventually, every market gets a correction in their values. When neighborhood values don't make sense, eventually, they will, when it eventually collapses. I'm seeing a ton of these right now. Eventually the world will come back to normal and people will have time to make better decisions, and these neighborhoods won't maintain that inherent value. Okay, last but not least is don't settle. Now, that sounds obvious and funny, right? But what I mean is this. To a certain degree, we all have to settle, right? We all have budgets. But consider the fact that every time you sell and then buy another property, you leave about 10% of your equity on the table. The cost of getting this wrong is so massive for you. So when you settle for aesthetic issues. You can't make the backyard bigger. You can't pick up the home and move it to a better location or a better lot. You can't change that floor plan. Now what you can do is change the flooring, change the paint, change the appliances. Those are easy. The biggest mistake people make in markets like this is letting their ego overshadow their brain. Don't buy the home that was just remodeled but backs up to a major street. Think about it. In 5 years, now you've got old appliances, chipped countertops, and you can't even open your windows without hearing noise pollution. Not only will this expedite your desire to move in 5 years, but you're likely going to get crushed when you try to sell that home in a normal or, God forbid, a down market, since buyers then will have options that you didn't have. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you liked some of my ideas. Now, if you really want that 400 level class to success, contact me directly today and I'll help you obtain the home that you truly deserve. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends and family. See you guys all in the next one.